Today's episode is most likely going to see the collapse of the Coptic faith. I mean, we have the Jews, fetishists, and Iconoclasts declaring a war on the Copts for the Jewish independence, but I think the Jews also want to take some of their cause back, and the fetishists, Iconoclasts are strong enough to make sure that this actually does happen. Now, the Sunni, they declared their own war just opportunistically against the Copts here. It's a little bit hard to tell as to who's currently on top here, but as soon as the fetishist forces make their way through Sunni lands, which they don't actually have access yet, they should definitely give access to the fetishists because they could help them out. As soon as that happens, the Sunni will be able to, successfully invade and take some provinces. I don't really know what they're going to take, but it's quite likely they will win. Unless, of course, the fetishists have no way of getting there, but that would be utterly stupid. And then, of course, we have the Mahayana. Now, they're not really going to threaten Coptic homelands as much. They're mostly just going to take these three provinces, this one, I hope as well, and potentially the Coptic province here in Australia. Now, the Copts also have some lands up in Alaska, but I don't think that the Mahayana are necessarily interested in that one. But, we might see it still. Also, we have the Zigri fighting a war against the Tengri. They are now, that really depends. If they're winning, no, they are not winning, most probably because Xi'an, the Tengri capital, is still not in Zigri hands. So it's going to take a while until they, never mind. They actually do make progress despite the fact that the capital is still in Tengri hands. So never mind what I just said. Also, the Fraticelli in Iconoclast are facing off the Reformed, but because the Bogomilist did not join in on this war, it's quite likely the Fraticelli are just going to roll over. We'll see what comes out of or what happens there, I guess. And the Inti have declared their second conquest against Catholic Venezuela, and one of their Catholic brothers, the Caribbean, has decided to actually help them out. But we currently see a war here that is being won by the Venezuelans, but overall we can see that the Inti have pushed in quite far already, and of course they have way more resources, and I'm pretty sure that they will win eventually. I mean, the Venezuela already had to give up a few provinces. They actually have, they have permanent claims here. Interesting. But yeah, they already had to give up quite a few provinces, and now they attacked across a river, and they're getting defeated by a smaller Inti army. So they have no chance. This is basically, they have another 45 stack. Okay, if they make it in time, what are the Inti doing? So I believe they lost that war. They had to flee because it's hard to tell, but they definitely just lost an army right there. So they are not doing as well as they could, but they at least managed to take over this fortress here, so maybe that was worth it in the end. I don't really know, but it's possible. Okay, so we see a big battle here. The Sunni forces getting defeated by the Copts. So as long as the fetishists cannot make their way in here, the Copts are safe because the Jews are going to get absolutely destroyed. This is incredibly stupid of the Sunni. I'm not sure why they're doing this, because they would win if they would just let the fetishists into their country, but I suppose they're still mad that they lost some provinces in the previous war. I don't know if they can really be like this, but we see more nations declaring war on the Copts. Now the Kharijites and Australia have decided to declare their war as well. Now the Kharijites, that's pretty obvious. I mentioned that as well, that they have some cause they need to take back, and they certainly will do that. They're probably going to be relatively unopposed. They don't have to worry about the Jews like they did in the last war. So if they're smart, they just send all of their forces up north, and the Copts have nothing they can do against them. You can also see the Iconoclasts. They are at least keeping some of the Coptic forces busy. So that's also good. Now we shouldn't forget that the Iconoclasts are actually in a war against the Reformed as well. But that is a war that the Fraticelli have started, and probably that they have pretty much under control. Yeah, their capital has already fallen, so this won't last for all too long. But yeah, other than that, we have, a few more things going on. Australia now declaring their war. Okay, so quite likely the Mahayana are not going to get TV. It's going to go right to Australia, which is, that's good to see. At least everyone is growing a bit stronger. So Australia landing troops there, pretty good. Mahayana have all of the things that they want occupied. Now they just need a little bit more war score to get over there. And the Sunni have 50,000 men here from Malaya, and they're basically now useless over here. They definitely need to get them over and to the front here, otherwise that won't help them much. So the Kharijites are pushing in, and other than that though, the Copts are pretty much able to defend their home. Yeah, man, you should give access to the fetishes, but I've said that multiple times now. Alright, Inti are not making as much progress as they should. The Cathars going for a imperialist war against the Papal State unopposed, so that's going to go relatively well for them. We have, yeah, other than that, the Shia going to war with the Rajayana. Okay. Now, the Shia, they have been flying under the radar for a long time. They're also obviously not Shia. They are actually Sunni, and they are, in fact, allied to the Sunnis, so that's pretty good for them. They have lost a few provinces to the Samaritans quite some time ago, and to the Ibadi as well. So they're overall not doing too well, and I really don't know. I guess they want to go after this province here. This is held by apparently Brunei? Wait, why is this... Okay, it said Brunei right there, but it actually is not Brunei. Oh, never mind. This is Brunei. This is the province of Brunei, but not the country. I was confused about that for a second. So yeah, the Shia, the Sunni Shia, want to have this little province, but they might also take something in the homelands. I don't know. It would be kind of stupid and very difficult for them to hold on to. So I suggest just take this one province and be done with it. I mean, really, it's not like you have really a chance of winning anyways. So, you know, don't humiliate yourself, I guess. Alright, so now we can see the Sunni pushing forward and the Jews besieging some of their cores as well. Alright, that's good to see. The Kharijites have done a really good job of driving out the Copts, and they have basically, oh look at that, they have basically completely abandoned their home to focus on piecing out the Iconoclast. And so far they've done a really good job. They have the Iconoclast capital under siege already. Under occupation already, I should say. Alright, what else is going on? So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Coptic wars. The Fraticelli are alone in their war against the Reformed. So the Iconoclasts were forced out, especially due to the Copts besieging their capital. So, yeah, that would potentially open the possibility for someone to defeat the Fraticelli here, but it's not going to be the Reformed. They don't have enough forces to deal with the Fraticelli on their own, and even if the war goal might be still under their control, they will lose this war. Yes. Wow. And the Monophysites decided to declare a war on the Hurufi. Now, the Hurufi have grown incredibly powerful because the Shinto gave them land from the Zoroastrians, and the Iconoclasts supported them against the Suomenusko. So they have really bounced back quite a bit. They're still terrible, and they have no chance of winning, but you know, I'm kind of surprised that they made this comeback. But now it seems as though the Monophysites want to take some of their cores back. Yeah, they do actually have a core here. They have another one here, but they have no chance against the Zoroastrians, at least not right now. Okay, and the Kharijites encroaching. They have now captured Alexandria. Now, Alexandria is another one of the Coptic holy sites. This is, yeah, the holy site they started with. And, you know, if they lose Axum, if they have to give up Antioch to Nestorians in a peace deal, and if the Kharijites go so far as to even conquer Alexandria, the Copts would be significantly crippled, severely crippled. So I don't know. That would be really bad for them. They are now sending their forces back south to drive back the Jews, but there's still the Sunni around, and I have the feeling that the Zunis are over here sieging as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I suppose that's what's going on. Yes. Oh, right, because they're part of the Australian conquest. I see. All right, but that doesn't really, you know, concern me all too much. Yeah, so that's basically all that's going on. It's the Copts getting demolished. That is that. Shia actually losing their war, despite the Vajrayani being so far behind in military tech, and the Monophysites are losing their war against the Hurufi, probably because they have no military access. That's also quite sad for them. There we have oh, look at that. Look at that. The Reformed mustered 100,000 men and beat back the Fraticelli. Well, still, they're not going to win. Yeah, there's another battle they're going to lose if they don't send in any forces. No, there was a twin battle in the provinces of Cleves and Meppen, and they lost both of them. So this was the last stand. -2 now. Of course, the war goal, they have all the war score they can get from Mazzolo, and now it's basically down to battles and whatever provinces are being occupied. And there we see the peace, and I wonder if the Fraticelli have taken over some lands. It's hard to tell. It's actually quite hard to tell. And I think it must have been like a white peace or something close to that, I imagine. So you have still your provinces there. You did not give anything back to the to the Waldensians, no. So that's fine. I think you basically got out of this relatively unscathed. You didn't have to give up any provinces. Alright, so the Kharijites, it's nice to see them actually finally winning a war, getting their provinces back. Just need to wait for peace here, and that is that. Okay, right. So I guess we can fast forward a little bit here, because that is basically one country at war with everyone. Iconoclasts have been pieced out, however, so there they are. I wonder who you're allied to. Still Fraticelli and Bogomilist. You kept your alliances, but you have been forced out. So the Iconoclasts are certainly not all too powerful. They can actually get pieced out of the war quickly. They don't have too many fortresses protecting their mainlands here, and the rest is not, enough development to really, bail them out should their capital get occupied. So there is that. Okay, we see a huge amount of forces down here. 80,000 Sunnis. They could quite easily actually defeat the Copts here if they work together with the Jews, but that might be something that they don't want to do. Yeah, the Jews got wiped out. And we see the Kharijites with 80,000 men also have Coptic revolutionaries now. Okay, well, I definitely don't want to see a revolution here. But actually, you know what? This might be what's going to happen. The Copts might be the revolutionary country, target of the revolution. Now, one thing, since we're talking about revolutions and stuff, I actually kind of want to check out the institutions, because last time we checked, only a few amount of nations had the Enlightenment embraced, and it still seems to be the case. Of course, a lot of them have it now, but the Inti still lack it. The rest have it. The Fraticelli lack it, and the Reformed, and of course the Zikri, Rajajani, they have nothing, which is actually kind of interesting. Why do they not have the Enlightenment? Maybe because they're so far behind the technology, I suppose. The Confucians have it, the Zunists do not. Alright, so pretty much everyone has it by now, which is fine. I mean, it's about time. It's been quite a while since that actually started, so yeah. Alexandria is now in revolutionary hands, and this is a pretty big stack, unless the Kharijites or any combatant really, considers sends a considerable amount of forces to deal with these rebels. They are going to stay in charge of the capital, and we will see a revolutionary Coptic nation. What? Revolutionary Coptic nation. There we go. Now, the Nestorians, through all this madness, have decided to go to war and reclaim what is theirs. They have many cores on the Copts, and there's no way that they're going to be able to fight back, or to bite back, I guess, in a way. The Hindu have declared a war on the Vajrayani, so that will put them in a difficult situation trying to defend against the Shia, but they still might be able to do it. And the Zoroastrians have declared a war on the Bogomilist. Now that is interesting. Now, of course, I did say that the Zoroastrians kind of need to do something. They need to do something in order to grow, because the Shinto, they have already taken quite a few provinces from them. So the only way they can expand is west. And interesting enough, they have not chosen to go after Hurufi or the Suomenusko. Actually, Suomenusko probably would have been the smarter choice, but they instead decided to go after the Iconoclast Bogomilist. Now, we did see that the Iconoclasts are already quite weakened, so maybe that was the smart choice. And the Bogomilists are having mass recruitments going on, trying to get all of their troops ready and defend their lands against the Zoroastrians. Okay, So we saw the Kharijites peace out. They took all of their cores back, which is good for them, but they didn't take anything more. However, they did decide to give some lands back to the Samaritans, so they now only, wow, they own lands over here that they started with. They own, well, their starting provinces here. These two provinces, wow, they gave a lot of stuff back. And also the Nestorians, they are still at war. They have gotten all of this from the Kharijites. That is pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive indeed. Did also the Jews get something? No, but the Jews are independent, allied to the fetishists, and, well, it's hard to tell if they got any provinces from the, I guess they got these 4 provinces. They retook that, and they managed to get independence. Alright, so now it's just, who are you fighting? You are still fighting the Nestorians, but they are probably just going to take, like, this one province. Yeah, so they still have this one core they could take, and you're fighting the Australians and Zunis. So the Mahayana have quite likely taken this all over. This is still in Coptic hands, but they have taken these 3 provinces. That's good to see. And Australia is still at war. Correct. Anyone interested in this? No. Alright, yeah, so the Copts had to give in to everyone. They are still, you know, quite powerful, I would say. But it really depends on how much these revolutionaries hit them. I don't know what's going on right now. I can't speak today. It's quite weird. But anyway, as for colonization, we can see that the Cathars are still going after Italy unchallenged, and they are also at war with the Lollards again. Oh wow! So there's a big war. Lollards are involved in many wars. So we still have the Copts. The last few wars that they are fighting, they're actually winning against Australia. They are okay, yeah, but they are losing against the Nestorians. Okay, so the Inti and the Fetishists are fighting the Lollards. They have no one supporting them. We have also the Norse against the Lollards and the Cathars. So the Lollards have no friends. The Bogomilist, this is the second alliance the Bogomilist broke. Wow. So they were allied to both the Reformed and Lollards, and they've not honored that. Wow, I really wonder what's going on with them. They were the ones orchestrating this huge alliance for so many years, and now it all falls apart. And they are, you know, kind of the reason, actually. But yeah, anyway, so the Lollards are gonna probably lose a lot of France to the Cathars. They will have to give up their holdings over here to the Norse, and I assume they're gonna have to give up Lollard Columbia to Inti, as well as their overseas provinces here to the Fetishists. So they're also, just like we saw with the Copts, going to lose on all fronts, which, you know, it's interesting how these things go sometimes, but yeah, there we are. The Copts are not able to muster any forces to defeat the Nestorians here. They are able to siege away at the mountain fortress of Kharijite, but they're only at -50. So there's still time if you manage to defeat the revolutionaries to get in, smash the Nestorians, and maybe get your holy site back. So you still have Alexandria, and I believe you still have Axum. So far you've only lost Antioch, but you have definitely the possibility to take it back now if you act quickly. Alright, so other than that, we have the Zoroastrians kind of struggling against the Bogomilist and Iconoclast alliance. That was really a stupid war to fight, because the Shinto are just waiting for the truce to run out, and they're going to declare war on you again. 4 years from now, you're going to get pounded. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much for sure. Alright, the Hindu, I believe, they took a few provinces from the Vajrayana. Alright, that's good for them. And now the Shia is still there and fighting their war. They're now winning again. Alright, good. Other than that, the Monophysites are losing heavily against the Hurufi, so they might actually have to give up these 2 provinces there. That's quite likely to see, or to happen, I should say. And, wait, why are the Hindu again at war with the Copts? What is it that they want? I'm confused, actually. These provinces are still in Coptic hands. Maybe it's for... yeah, maybe it's this. Australia did not end up taking it. Alright, so they gave in. I really wonder what the Hindus want, but it might be just some islands in here. The Copts do have control over some of the Pacific islands, like this one right here, I think is Coptic. Yeah, so maybe that's what the Hindu are after. Not too sure actually, but yeah, that's not really a major war. The revolutionaries managed to take over Alexandria, but the Copts are able to push back the Nestorians, so they should get some of their lands back. But they have no longer any cause here. Well, that's quite devastating. Still, though, I think they're at least going to get some provinces back. Hopefully, their not colonial nation. What am I saying? Their holy site. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay. So, and now I guess we could have a look at the Lollards. I wonder if anyone has landed in their homelands. Yes, we have 63 Norse men. They could probably get driven back quite easily, and that's what we're going to see right now. Yeah. In fact, no. The Lollards are moving around like retards, and now they've finally got their troops together. They will most likely wipe out the Norse here if they're smart. Okay, so we saw a nice stack wipe there. That is obviously the big advantage the Lollards still have, that they have control over their capital, and no one can really do much about it. So these are all imperialist wars, and therefore they will at least get 25% ticking war score. So the Inti managed to take over all of Lollard Columbia, I'm sure. The Cathars took over all of France, which might give them enough war score. And Norse, well, they just send a huge stack to death, and now all they have for the war score is this. So, you know what? The Lollards might be fine. They might be alright. If not enough people send all of their forces in there at once, they can easily, defeat these small armies. But I think that was it for today. So we did see the collapse of the Copts. We're maybe not as likely going to see a collapse of the Lollards, and then we have some smaller wars going on, with probably the most important being the one between the Zoroastrians and the Iconoclast Bogomilist alliance. Well, yeah, that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.